I'm David Craigots, and I want to welcome you back to my series, Being the Change, Principles that Foster Leadership in Innovation in Uncertain Times. These videos are aimed to support business executives and business owners who deeply care about sharpening their own saw around their leadership so that they can have the greatest impact possible. And the people that are getting the most from these videos tend to be those that recognize this time that we're in is really a time to step up their leadership game. I'm going to be talking about the principle of vision today. And the principle of vision stands on what I call the law of focus, which states whatever you predominantly put your attention on grows and expands. And when a leader spends the time to clarify at a significant level of detail what their vision is, and they feel passionate about bringing that in the world, there is no more galvanizing force for their focus and their impact, and it will always lead to extraordinary results. So let's revisit some core distinctions about vision and its primary benefits. Ultimately, leadership is a creative endeavor. That's one of the ways that you separate leadership from management. Leaders are creators. And as a leader realizes their vision, it's as if their vision becomes their work of art. Or another way to say that what vision is, it's a map to build their legacy. Now, your vision is a compelling story about the future that you are passionate about realizing. And there are components that are kind of like Lego logs or Lincoln logs, if you remember as a kid using Legos or Lincoln logs, that build the story. And these primary elements are your purpose, either your own, if you're developing your own vision for leadership, it's your purpose as a leader. If it's around your organization, it's the purpose for the organization or why it exists. It's also relevant to what's most important about how do you want to fulfill that purpose, your values. And the final component is what are the kind of various missions or strategic objectives that will be sprung from these first two elements that you want to see happening in the world. And what you do with clarifying those elements is you develop a narrative or story that's as much qualitative as quantitative. In other words, it's a feeling and a picture of what's created because purpose, your values, and your strategic objectives are unfolding in the world in the most perfect way, if you will. And it creates a story that shares why your organization exists and what you stand for as an organization or a leader. Now, there are three primary benefits of vision that I want to touch on. First of all, the primary vision is a primary context for your decision making and execution. When you have clarity of vision, your strategies, your projects, your tactics, and your behaviors become synchronized, leading to outstanding results. When you stand in vision in the face of all circumstances and keep moving forward, outstanding results have to occur. Again, it goes back to the law of focus. What you predominantly put your attention on expands and grows. Number two, vision is the most powerful focusing and aligning force for supporting consistent execution across your organization. Creating this alignment involves having dialogue about your vision with your board, your team, other key stakeholders, and getting people involved in creating means to turn the vision into reality. And the alignment and engagement that's generated from a compelling vision is critical to this increasingly virtual work environment that we're living in now. Because when people get and believe and buy into the vision, their actions automatically begin to align. You don't have to worry about micromanaging them because they're working from home. That's why it's important to have conversations and to assess buy-in with your direct reports and others that are helping you fulfill the vision. Finally, And paradoxically, vision supports being fully present now. Yes, vision is about the future, but the maintaining the focus on it serves us to most powerfully be in the present moment. It begins to automatically guide you to take the most powerful actions. After all, vision can only be made and turned into reality by stacking moments, days, months of consistent effort. Now, for many of my clients, and maybe you're thinking this as well, vision can seem like a nice thing to have when so much is on your plate, so much is being thrown about you in your day. This is until you dive in and make vision a priority, because when you do, you get vision's power. And to illustrate that, I'd like to talk to you about one of my clients, Jim. So Jim was a CEO of a very successful communications firm in the DC area. And he was already a strong leader in his own right and had been part of this firm for many, many years. And Jim said he hired me because he felt it was one of those times where he needed to kind of take the next step up in his leadership, because he had just been named a couple months prior CEO of the business. When I walked in the door to meet with Jim the first day, he got up from his big mahogany desk. He came walking around energetically, had me sit down at the table, the conference table in his office, and said, "David, I'm really glad you're here. I have to say that I'm extremely frustrated right now. We have a great organization, a great team, a great group of people, but we have this interesting decision-making structure around here. The 5 partners, of which I'm one, have to come to consensus on every major decision. And it's driving me crazy since I've been named as CEO. You see, I can see what this business can be. We have a great client base, and I can see how we could expand the marketplace. We've attracted stellar talent, and our junior partners and associates are really among the best in our profession. And the culture around here could just be taken up a notch. But I'm frustrated by this decision-making structure." I said, "Jim, you have everything you need to do exactly what you want to do here." Jim was a little bit taken aback, wasn't expecting me to respond like that, and said, "Well, tell me more what you need, what you mean." I said, "Jim, you see clearly what this place could be. You have a vision. You just have to increase the level of clarity and details around that vision to take the step forward you want to take." And just as I intimated earlier about the resistance to doing this process because of everything that's on your plate, Jim kind of looked at me and said, "I don't know how getting more clear is going to really help me, but I hired you. I'm willing to do what you asked me to do, and let's see where this goes." So I gave Jim an exercise to help him clarify not only his broader vision, but the details behind his vision. And I asked him to develop a story about the future that he would get pumped about, that he would be passionate about, and to sit down and read that every day as part of his morning routine. And Jim agreed to do this and did the process. Well, about 3 weeks later, I got a voicemail from Jim about a day before our meeting. And it simply said, "David, I'm really looking forward to our scheduled meeting tomorrow. I think I got this vision thing." I smiled, didn't know quite what that was about, and the next day I went in for our typical meeting. And Jim was waiting for me in the office. And again, he said, "I got this vision thing." I said, "Well, tell me what you got." He said, "I don't know. I did what you asked me to do. I crafted my vision. I began to read it. And I realized it's not an intellectual thing. There's something that's occurred that's lit up in me, a passion. I don't know, it's like steel is growing in my backbone. And I'm having different kinds of conversations with our partners about what this organization could be and where we could take it, how we could expand our client base, and how we could, build a program that would foster the growth of our future partners, etc. And they liked what I'm saying. And not only that, after these one-on-one meetings, we came together on a group meeting a few days ago, and it was agreed that I needed to start making the final decisions on certain areas of this business moving forward, obviously with their input, but that I would have the final say. Again, this is what happens when you begin to engage vision. A different part of you can wake up and engage, and you engage in a different way. Now for Jim, it went well beyond that initial aha. The organization had its 2 best revenue years following the end of our coaching, and they developed a robust continuing education program. They did make cultural changes, and they made changes in how they looked at the numbers and crunched the numbers so they could have clearer view of what was actually happening in the business. And all this came out of Jim getting crystal clear. And that can happen for anybody that takes the development of the vision process seriously. And as a part of this series, I want to offer you access to an exercise similar that I had Jim use to create his vision. And if you'd like to download that, you can do so by clicking the link below this video to gain access to that exercise. In addition, as you're doing that, if you would find it helpful to have a sounding board to talk about the vision that you've created, then you can sign up for a free leadership discovery call for me, and we can spend time talking about that and exploring different means in which you can unfold that in and for your business. And again, that's offered at no charge. So that's it about vision today. There's a little bit more to talk about around vision, and we're going to do so in the next video by talking about the law of creative tension and how, as you create a vision, you are going to face the circumstances that are not necessarily in sync with your vision, and how do you deal with that. So we'll be talking about that in the next video. I want to thank you again for your attention today and for coming back and watching. I hope you found this valuable, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks again for watching.